So last week was a crazy week where tons of leaked information came out about Nintendo Switch 2, with even prototype pictures and models of what the console could look like, including all of its specs as well. And I pretty much made a giant overview video about everything Switch 2 related. And one of the things that really caught my eye was the specs itself. And it's not something that surprised me, it's something that I was definitely expecting, where it says that the Switch 2 apparently is going to be as powerful as PS4 and the Xbox Series S. And I really wanted to make a whole video talking about what this could mean for Nintendo having more power and obviously better graphics and better hardware. What could this mean for their games, and how big is this? Because I know some people, of course, are still complaining online saying, what, we're not having 4K capabilities or over 60 frames by now? Why is Nintendo so behind? Why are they always a generation behind? Well, today I really want to dive into what I think about all this and give you an opinion of what I think this is going to do for the Nintendo games to come out in the years that follow. But before we get started, stop what you're doing, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. A lot of you guys watching this right now are still not yet subscribed. So stop what you're doing and support the channel. Let's see how many people we can get to subscribe from this one video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And yes, tons of Echoes of Wisdom gameplay and coverage is coming soon. I just had to get through the game. I had to restart the game from scratch because I went to record and lost 2 hours of gameplay. So I had to restart the game. So yeah, that's fun. But I promise gameplay coming soon. But on to the video. So personally, I'm not a whole specs person. I don't really dig into the details of the RAM and the graphics card and all that stuff, but thankfully Nintendo Prime over on YouTube actually does this. He's a good buddy of mine. Definitely go check out his channel. He just posted a whole video covering some interviews and talks about the hardware and software, and also some insiders posting some information on Twitter about that, and he kind of goes over all that and exactly what to expect down to the detail with this new console. Of course, we got to take all this with a grain of salt until once again Nintendo does release this information for public use, but for right now all we can do is speculate and listen to what some people are claiming, especially if this console is in production right now. A lot of this could very well be true, and from some of the leaks that we've seen, a lot of insiders are saying yes, all this information is adding up. But I'm not here to dive into the specs, but instead to talk about what these implications could mean for Switch 2 and how this could actually turn some of these games into masterpieces. Yes, apparently Switch 2 is on par of that of the PS4 and the Xbox One from the last generation. And like I said, I know people are going to complain, especially people that hate Nintendo, and the PS and Xbox fanboys out there are going to say, look, Nintendo is still behind. But there's so many things that you got to look at here, which is just insane. If Nintendo can literally just have a home and portable console hybrid like the Switch, but running at 1080 and 60 frames per second smoothly without any dips, Nintendo has absolutely taken over the video game market. I mean, seriously. Right now, their games are already top-notch. I mean, they've been releasing high-quality games that always get 8s, 9s, and even 10 out of 10s and are just extremely high sellers. I mean, they have some of the most important franchises in the entire gaming universe right now, with Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, 3D Mario, Zelda games, Splatoon now, and even Kirby is bumping his way up there, plus tons of other games as well. And one of the only biggest problems that we keep seeing over and over again with these releases is performance. I mean, literally just look at The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. One of the biggest problems right now is just the frame rate. That's it. Because right now, people are saying it is a absolutely perfect game, and that one of the only problems that they keep running into is performance issues, where the frame rate will dip from 60 down to 30 or jump even lower or just fluctuate between the two, causing lots of choppiness. And it seems to be a problem that we keep having with new releases. And I'm sorry, there's just no excuse for a game that looks like The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom and Link's Awakening to be running like that. There shouldn't be as many problems and chugging as the game has, and I've only played an hour and a half into the game, and I've noticed some great chugging already. If this problem is fixed, seriously, I don't know how Nintendo is going to get beat. With all of their original IPs and characters in high quality games, and finally running at top tier graphics and frame rate, I mean, we're in for peak Nintendo. And that's why people were so excited for Switch 2, because as the Switch is an HD console like the Wii U, it still suffered from similar problems as the Wii U, not being super powerful and still capping a lot of games off at 30 frames or dipping between 60 and 30, or just having to dip in the resolution because of that. Having a console that's capable of 60 frames at 1080 plus is going to be so awesome for Nintendo games, because at the end of the day, it's Nintendo games. They don't need to be at 4K. We don't need ultra hyper realistic Mario overall graphics, you know what I mean? And the only way that I can truly explain what this would look like and feel like is the way Astro Bot runs on PS5. Like, seriously, that game is phenomenal, and it runs at a smooth, buttery 60 frames, and it looks absolutely beautiful while playing it. And not to mention, it's not meant to be a hyper-realistic game. It is along the lines of a 3D Mario. It's cartoony with its graphics, but still manages to look so good. I've said this a million times already, but with enough powerful hardware, the next Mario game is going to absolutely knock our socks off, especially if it's, like they're saying, an open-world Mario game. It's really going to take advantage of that new hardware, and it's going to undoubtedly be one of the best video games of all time. I'm telling you, this Mario game being cooked right now. Next year marks 7 years since Odyssey, so man, with next year being 8 years since that game released, it is definitely due. And you remember how good even Mario Kart looked? Mario Kart 8, I remember for the first time, was one of the craziest looking games of all time for Nintendo, man. It blew our minds that a Mario Kart game even needed to look that good, DLC aside. But at the end of the day, I just can't wait to see a jump and a transition like that moving on to the next console. I'm not expecting anything super mind-blowing with the graphics to change, but it's definitely going to look better, and we know it's going to run better. I mean, I feel like still the Switch gets a lot of hate for what it is. We know it's not that powerful of a console, but still, it can do some pretty magnificent things. I mean, I still can't believe Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom can run as smoothly as it does on the console, so clearly there is some optimization that can happen with specific games, but man, it just makes me even more excited to see what the game is going to look like and how it's going to run on next hardware. And it goes further than just the graphics and the way the game looks and even the way the game runs. It also goes alongside the gameplay sometimes, allowing for Nintendo maybe to do some new things that they previously couldn't do. Once again, I don't think it's going to be like PS5 or Xbox Series X levels of difference, allowing you to just warp to a new location in a matter of seconds, but that is going to speed up transportation as well. Loading screens are going to be a lot faster. Warping and teleporting across the map is also going to be a lot faster, and it's just going to allow the games to run better and allow us to have more time playing than sitting and watching. And there could also be brand new gameplay mechanics to take advantage of this. I mean, if we could build to our heart's content in Tears of the Kingdom on the current Switch and for it to have really no flaws with the hardware, I can't wait to see what type of crazy mechanics Nintendo can come up with for the next Mario game and the next Zelda game after Tears of the Kingdom. It just really makes me excited for the future, finally having hardware that's up to par. But like I've been saying, this upgrade for Nintendo is everything. It's going to give us exactly what we've been needing and what we wanted for so long, because once you reach that 60 frames per second at 1080, there's not much else that we need for a Nintendo game. We don't need it to jump into 4K. I mean, it's going to be exciting to see far off into the future, but it's not something that we need. We just want to see games run at the best possible frame rate that we can get, which is right now, 60 is not the best, obviously you can go higher, but 60 is more than enough for a Nintendo game. That's really all we've been wanting for years, so anything higher than that is just a gift at this point. It's just a cherry on top, because man, once Nintendo reaches that 60 frames and 1080 smoothness, Nintendo games are going to be near perfect. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about this. Maybe frame rate or resolution doesn't even matter to you. The chugs doesn't bother you and you really don't care, or you just really are just excited for the next Switch just because of the games and it's not really a whole hardware limitation type of thing. But definitely let me know how you feel about this. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.